Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Gopinath, Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramaya. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Shabbat Ramsa Parishara Stotar Shata Shishimat. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Char Beauty Founder Char Jaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shabbat Ramsa Parishara Stotar Shata Shishimat. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Maharaj Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Seko Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Marni Ki Jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pamanande. O Gaur Samadhuvaris. O Gaur Samadhuvaris. O Gaur Samadhuvaris. O Gaur Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. O Gaur Shri Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, titled Dhritarashtra Quits Farm. Text number 26. Gata swatam imam deham. Gata swatam imam deham. Virakto mukta bandhanaha. Virakto mukta bandhanaha. Avignata gatir jayat. Avignata gatir jayat. Savaidhira udahritaha. Savaidhira udahritaha. Gata swatam imam deham. Virakto mukta bandhanaha. Avignata gatir jayat. Savaidhira udahritaha. Gata swatam imam deham. Virakto mukta bandhanaha. Avignata gatir jayat. Savaidhira udahritaha.
Virakto mukta bandhanaha.
Word for translation. Gata swartam, without being properly utilized. Imam, this day, imam, this Deham, material body. Viraktaha, indifferently. Mukta, being freed. Bandhanaha, from all obligations. Avijnata gati, unknown destination. Jayat, one should give up this body. Sa, such a person. Vai, certainly. Dhira, undisturbed. Udahritaha is said to be so. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: He is called undisturbed who goes to an unknown, remote place and freed from all obligations, quits his material body when it has become useless. Purport: Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava sect, has sung, "My Lord, I have simply wasted my life, having obtained the human body. I have neglected to worship your Lordship, and therefore I have willingly drunk poison." In other words, the human body is especially meant for cultivating knowledge of devotional service to the Lord, without which life becomes full of anxieties and miserable conditions. Therefore, one who has spoiled his life without such cultural activities is advised to leave home without knowledge of friends and relatives, and being thus freed from all obligations of family, society, country, etc., give up the body at some unknown destination, so that others may not know where and how he has met his death. Dhira means one who is not disturbed, even when there is sufficient provocation. One cannot give up a comfortable family life due to his affectionate relation with wife and children. Self-realization is obstructed by such undue affection for family. And if anyone is at all able to forget such a relation, he is called undisturbed or dhira. This is, however, the path of renunciation, based on a frustrated life. But stabilization of such renunciation is possible only by association with bona fide saints and self-realized souls, by which one can be engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord. Sincere surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is possible by awakening the transcendental sense of service. This is made possible by association with pure devotees of the Lord. Dhritarashtra was lucky enough to have a brother whose very association was a source of liberation for this frustrated life. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksulamitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Haripriya Mancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So we're continuing on with our discussion from chapter 13 of first canto, which describes how Dhritarashtra quits home. So first we saw this chapter starts off with Vidura returning back home, back to Hastinapur. And we saw how much Vidura was dear to all the residents of Hastinapur. Not only were the Pandavas overjoyed in seeing Vidura, but it's mentioned all the different residents, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, different, all the different residents of Hastinapur. They're all in so much joy and happiness when they saw Vidura return. So from this we see, how pure devotees of the Lord, they're loved and liked by all classes of persons in society. So Prabhupada used to always give the examples of the 6 Goswamis from the Sad Goswastikam, where it said how the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were popular both amongst the devotees and amongst the ruffians. So a devotee has no enemies and he's liked by everyone. Both devotees and non-devotees, they like a pure devotee of the Lord because he is endowed with all good qualities and he's always thinking about how to benefit others. And others, they can sense that this person, he has no evil intention, no intention to exploit me or do anything just for his own purpose. No, he genuinely cares about me, he genuinely my well-wisher. That's why even non-devotees, they also very much are attracted to a pure devotee of the Lord. So in this way the chapter starts out of Vidura returning back to Hastinapur, and it's mentioned that when the residents of Hastinapur, when they saw Vidura returning, it was as if life came back to their body. It's as if they were unconscious this whole time, and now finally consciousness has come back. And then we saw how Maharaj Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, they were so nicely welcomed and received Vidura, and we discussed about Vidura being an incarnation, or non-different from Yamaraj taking birth as the son of a Sudra on planet Earth due to a curse by Mandukya Muni. And we discussed how this was Krishna's arrangement. Krishna fulfilled, Yamaraj's deep desire to come and preach the glories of Krishna. And then it's mentioned, then Vidura, he starts preaching to Dhritarashtra, and that's where we're up to now. And Prabhupada writes in his purports that all these different instructions that Vidura is giving to Dhritarashtra, the Pandavas, they're also hearing. So Prabhupada writes in his purports that the message of Krishna consciousness is so attractive that everyone just wants to listen, no one wants to miss out. So this was the mood of the Pandavas. When they were hearing Vidura, speaking transcendental knowledge, the Pandavas, they didn't want to miss out. So they were also assembled around, they were also hearing from Vidura what he's saying to Dhritarashtra. They weren't thinking, we're all pure devotees of Lord, we're all eternally liberated souls, we don't need to listen, we're already perfected. Dhritarashtra, he's a blind, he's spiritual blind, material blind, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's committed so much nonsense, he's such a great karmi. Okay, for him, he should listen to this Bhagavatam class, he should listen from Vidura and get himself purified. But us, we're pure devotees, we don't have to listen, we can go on and do our thing. No. When they heard, Vidura speaking such great transcendental knowledge, and then the Pandavas immediately, they were so much attracted, and they all also assembled. And they also started hearing from Vidura. Whatever is explained to Dhritarashtra, they were also hearing. So from this we see, how this, like Prabhupada says, we should never come to a state where we think, that we've heard enough. No. We should, even if something is being spoken that we already know, still, my Guru Maharaj says, when we hear something repeatedly, we'll get more realization on that same topic. And plus we'll be able to go deeper into the subject matter. So, and the verses that Vidura, he says to Dhritarashtra are quite heavy. We heard last week, Vidura is calling Dhritarashtra, a household dog, aren't you ashamed of yourself? The same persons you tried to murder, the same persons you tried to kill by setting fire to the house, by trying to poison them. The same family, whom you insulted one of their wives and you tortured them so many different ways. And that same family, now you're staying under their care and now you're taking their food. The same Bhima, who killed, it's mentioned in the battle of Kurukshetra, the person who caused the most number of casualties was actually Bhima. More than Arjuna, Bhima killed more. So he was, like unstoppable in the battle of Kurukshetra, and he killed, Prabhupada writes, 2 of Dhritarashtra's prominent sons, Dursasana and Duryodhana. And after the battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra was so angry, especially at Bhima, because Bhima killed, many of his sons, especially his most dear ones. So I think last week we heard the story of how Dhritarashtra wanted, calling Bhima, please come, I want to embrace you. And Krishna knew what's going to happen, He'll embrace with such anger that he'll kill Bhima. So Krishna arranged for like a stone statue, of Bhima to come in front of Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra embraces this rock solid stone, and the whole stone just cracks. So much anger he had against Bhima. And now that same Bhima who killed his sons, the same Bhima who had so much anger against, he's taking food from that same Bhima. So this is what Vidura is saying, like, don't you have any shame? You're just living like a shameless dog. The same persons you tried insulting and killed in so many different ways, same persons who you stole their wealth and, did so much torture to them, and those same persons are maintaining, and you're just happily, coolly just sitting at home and just, engaging in sense gratification. So in this way, Vidura is very heavy. And this is actually for Dhritarashtra's own good. Like many times, Prabhupada will give the example that the spiritual master, the guru, he is as heavy as a thunderbolt and as soft as a rose. So these are the two sides of a guru. And actually the word guru means heavy. And this is needed. Sometimes to wake us up from our slumber, the spiritual master has to be heavy and he has to chastise us, with great, great force, great heaviness. Otherwise we'll just be, sleeping in Maya. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jeev Jago, wake up, sleeping soul. So sometimes, just like if there's a fire in this building, say we're all sleeping, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, all the residents are sleeping. And there's a fire, in the temple. And then, if someone is actually desiring the welfare, then that person will go into the ashram and shout at all the different brahmacharis and the pujaris sleeping, wake up, there's a fire, come on, we need to get up. And no one would chastise that person. Hey, what are you doing? Can't you see devotees are sleeping? Why are you shouting at them? Why are you disturbing their sleep? No one would say that. Because in this instance, one's life is at stake. The life of all the brahmacharis, pujaris is at stake. So this person who's shouting, at all the pujaris, wake up, he's doing it for their own good, for their benefit. So in the same way, the spiritual master, he sees what's really going on. He sees how Maya is just devouring these souls. And out of compassion for these souls, the spiritual master, sometimes he acts heavy, sometimes he says strong words, but this is simply for the benefit of the jiva, to help him wake up from Maya's lap. Prabhupada says, everyone, all these conditioned souls, they're all sleeping on the lap of Maya. Maya will come, will present herself very nicely. Please come, I'll take care of you very nicely. Come, put your head on my lap. And then once you put your head on Maya's lap, Prabhupada says, Maya will get a knife and just slit your throat. So that's the nature of Maya. She'll externally pose things as very attractive and induce you, seduce you to come close to her. When you come, that's it. With a trident, she'll stab us, she'll attack us. Trident are the threefold miseries. So in the same way, we should see that these instructions that Vidura is giving to Dhritarashtra is actually out of compassion. He's not saying out of anger or to get revenge, So Vidura's mentality is not that, Dhritarashtra and his son Duryodhana, they never listened to me, So many times I tried to preach to them, they never listened to me. Rather, they insulted me, they kicked me out of the kingdom. So now it's my time for revenge, And now that Dhritarashtra has lost all his sons, he's not the king anymore. Now you can come and just chastise him, Now you can just come and blast him with lots of heavy words. And in this way, I'll get revenge. This way I'll show, my elder brother who's the real boss. So that's not Vidura's intention, That's probably the intention of conditioned souls in mature world. But no, Vidura, he's just simply thinking of the benefit of Dhritarashtra. He's thinking, my brother, his whole life is just wasted in so many sinful activities. Now he has a few years left in his life, even that he's wasting. Let me go and help him, so at least these few remaining years of his life, at least those few years, he can engage in Krishna consciousness and get a higher destination. So in previous purports, Prabhupada's writing, that Vidura didn't come back home just to get some glorification, from his friends and families, or to, Vidura's not thinking, okay, now that the battle is finished, the Pandavas, they're the king. If I come back, the Pandavas will nicely take care of me. They'll give me a nice, apartment, nice palace to live in. They'll give me nice food stuff, and I can happily relax in Hastinapur being taken care of the Pandavas. That's not Vidura's intention. He's completely beyond bodily happiness. The only reason, sole reason Vidura came back is just to deliver Dhritarashtra. That's why this chapter is titled, Dhritarashtra quits home. And how he quits home? He doesn't quit home on his own endeavor. He quits home by the mercy of Vidura, his brother. So, and same thing Prabhupada, writes in Krishna book, especially in after the Damodar Leela. Maharaj Parikshit, he asked a very nice question to Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit asked, how come Narad Muni, he's a pure devotee of the Lord, He's such a great self-control sage. How can Narad Muni become angry and curse these two demigods, great sages, pure devotees, Lord? They can never get overcome by anger. How can a devotee chastise someone? How can a devotee get angry at someone and curse them? Then Sukadeva Goswami explains that actually this curse by Narad Muni upon Nalakuvara Manigriva was actually Narad Muni's compassion. He didn't curse them out of anger, mature anger, but he cursed them out of compassion. He was thinking these two sons of the demigod Kuvera, how they're wasting their life. They have such a nice, elevated birth in the planet of the demigods, and they're just simply wasting their life. There's so much in ignorance. The only way I see that they will be benefited is if they lose all the opulence. And then they'll come to their senses. That's why Narad Muni, thinking of their benefit, he cursed them to become trees. But Narad Muni also gave them the benediction that usually when one becomes a tree, his consciousness is completely gone. Very little consciousness he has. But Narad Muni blessed Nalakuvara Manigriva that although they were in the body of trees, they could still remember their past life. They could still remember what they did previously, due to which they got cursed, due to which they got body of trees. So for so many years they were in the body of trees. All those years they were meditating and contemplating. How we were such great elevated demigods, we had so much wealth, so much opulence, such great family, dynasty, and how we wasted all our time and how we got cursed by Narad Muni. So all those years they had time to contemplate. So this was Narad Muni's mercy. Narad Muni gave them a body by which they were bereft of all opulence, and he also gave them the memory to contemplate, intelligence to contemplate on what they did wrong. Then they came to their senses. Then by Narad Muni's mercy, they got the association of Krishna, which is no ordinary thing. As we all know, Krishna, he appears only once in a day of Brahma. So Brahma, he lives for 1,000 Divya Yugas. Each Divya Yuga is 4.32 million years. So 1,000 times that is 4.32 billion years. So Brahma comes only once every 4.32 billion years. So such a rare opportunity it is to get darshan association with Krishna. But by the mercy of Narad Muni, these two demigods, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they got the association of Krishna. So such an amazing thing actually. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami explains to Maharaj Parikshit that externally it seems that Narad Muni out of anger he's cursing, but actually no, it's out of mercy, it's out of compassion. So in this way, Prabhupada trains our vision to see that whenever we see a sage cursing, whenever we see a sage chastising, they're not doing it out of anger. So in the mature world, when we see someone chastising another person, we just see them as them being angry and then them just trying to exploit the other person, show them who's the boss out of false ego. But that's not the case with devotees. Devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, they do it out of compassion. They do it simply for the benefit of the other person. Another example we can think of is, the doctor. Sometimes the doctor, has to give the medicine to the patient, and the medicine might not be so palatable. It could be some bitter medicine, or it could be an injection. Naturally, if you insert a needle into someone's body, it will hurt. So externally it seems, someone from outside looking, man, look at this doctor, what is he doing? He's getting paid so much, this patient is coming to him saying he has this problem, that problem, and this doctor is so cruel, he's taking a big needle and injecting it into his body. What a cruel person, What is he doing sitting here in this hospital? No, a person with, proper vision, proper knowledge, intelligence, he sees. Actually, the doctor is not causing harm to the patient. Rather, through the injection, he's, putting the medicine into the body by which the patient will be cured. So in the same way, sometimes devotees laws, although externally it seems, they're being very heavy, they're being very harsh, but actually it's simply for the benefit of the conditioned soul. They're helping the conditioned soul wake up from the lap of Maya, Jeev Jagu. So that's one main thing we can learn from here. And in today's verse, Prabhupada, in purport, he first quotes a line from a famous song by Narottam Das Thakur. So Narottam Das Thakur, great devotee and Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava sect, has sung, "My Lord, I have simply wasted my life, having obtained a human body. I have neglected to worship your Lordship, and therefore I have willingly drunk poison." So this is actually the first lines of the famous verse, Hari Hari Vifale Janame Gonainu. And one time actually Prabhupada said that someone asked him, one of his disciples, Prabhupada, what's your favorite bhajan? Because many times Prabhupada, in his spare times, he would just sit by himself and play on the harmonium and sing to himself different bhajans. So one time one devotee asked Prabhupada, what's your favorite bhajan? Prabhupada said, this one is his favorite bhajan, Hari Hari Vifali, Janame Gonainu. So in this verse, in this song, Narottam Das Thakur, he's first lamenting, I've just simply wasted my whole life. This human body is so rare. I've simply wasted it by simply drinking poison. And in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that, in other words, the human body is especially meant for cultivating knowledge or devotional service to the Lord, without which life becomes full of anxieties and miserable conditions. So now we can discuss a bit about this point about how the human body is meant for self-realization. The human body is meant for cultivating knowledge or devotional service. So when I was reading this, first thing that came to my mind was one very famous verse by Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, in his instructions to his schoolmates in his kindergarten, Prahlad Maharaj, first thing he says, Komaram achara pragno dharman bhagavatam niha durlabham manusham janma tadapi artaram artadam. So it's mentioned, Prabhupada writes, during the tiffin hours, during the lunch break of their school, when the teachers would go away, Prahlad Maharaj would preach to his classmates about devotional service. And his classmates would say, Prahlad, come, play with us, let's go play soccer, let's go play this or that. And Prahlad might say, no, come, let's talk about Krishna, let's talk about devotional service. And then his friends, would challenge back, but we're just so young, we're just like 5 years old. This we can do later. Now we're young, let's play. So then to counter this, Prahlad Maharaj quotes this verse. So in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj says that devotional service is so important that it's not that one should do it, when one is an adult, when he's in teen years, or when one is old and mature. No, Prahlad Maharaj says devotional service, Krishna consciousness should start right from the very beginning of one's life, right from Komar age, from 5 years old. So we can discuss some verses from this chapter by Prahlad Maharaj. This is 7th canto, chapter 6. So in this chapter, chapter start, Prahlad Maharaj instructs his demonic schoolmates. So the first one, like I already recited, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Komar achara pragno dharman bhagavatam miha, that right from the age of 5 years old, one should engage in devotional service to Krishna. Why? Because dulabham manusham janma tadapi ardruvam artadam. Because this human body is very, very rare. So as we know, Prabhupada so many times would mention this point, that this human body is very rare, don't waste it. Only after traveling, in this universe, Brahmande, Brahmanta Hoite, Kona Bhagavanji, Guru Krishna Prasarpai, Bhakti Lara Beach, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that these souls, conditioned souls, they're just traveling all around the Brahmanda, all around the universe in so many different species, 8,400,000 species. And only after going through millions and millions of births, only does one get this human body. So it's such a rare thing. And the second thing Prahlad Maharaj says, that this human body, although it is temporary, although it is impermanent, it has full of artha, it has full of meaning, great value. Why does it have great value, great meaning? In the next verse, Prahlad Maharaj will explain. Because through this human body only can one get self-realization. Through this human body only can one go back to the spiritual world, can one exit this material world. Prabhupada used the word loophole. This human body is the only loophole out of this material world. Otherwise, very rare, practically impossible to get out of the material world through any one of the other species. So firstly, this human body is very rare. Secondly, although it's temporary, it's full of value, full of artha, because through this instrument, it's a suitable boat to cross over the ocean of mature existence. And the captain on the boat, that's the spiritual master. So the boat already we have attained, somehow or other we're in the human body, and now to help us fully utilize this human body to cross over the ocean of mature existence, we need a suitable captain for the ship to guide us across, the seas, and that's compared to the spiritual master. And then in third verse of this chapter, another very powerful verse, Prahlad Maharaj in this verse is saying, Sukham Endrikam Decha, Deha Yogena Dehinam, Sarvatra Labhyate Devat, Yatha Dukham Ayatnataha. So two things Prahlad Maharaj mentions here. So firstly, the students, they could come up with the argument, that we're young, why should we do this now? We can do it when we're older. Prahlad Maharaj says, no, we should do it right from now. Devotional service is so important, we should do it right from the age of 5 years old. And secondly, another argument his schoolmates can come up with is, what about a mature happiness, What about happiness, mature happiness? What will happen to that? If we just fully engage in devotional service, we'll miss out on so much. So Prahlad Maharaj counter this, he says two things in this verse. Firstly, he says, Sukham Mendrikam Decham Deha Yogina Dehinam Sarvata Labhyate Devat. So in this verse, point number one, Prahlad Maharaj says that this sukha that you guys are going for, this mature happiness that you sons of the demons are going for, you can attain in any species of life. Sarvata Labhyate Devat. By the arrangement of providence, you can get in any species of life. And it's the same pleasure that cats and dogs, they get when they engage in sense gratification, the same pleasure cats and dogs, pigs, they get when eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, is that exact same pleasure you guys get when you engage in the same four activities. There's no difference in quality. So my Guru Maharaj mentions, it's just packaged differently, but the substance is the same. So you might put different wrappers or gift wraps around the package, but inside it's the same substance. Externally, Maya makes it look different. But actually the same happiness that a pig gets when it eats stool, the same happiness human beings get when we eat food. Of course, prasad is different, prasad is transcendental, but that's what Prabhupada, that's what Prahlad Maharaj is explaining. That's the same happiness you guys are working so hard for, that same happiness the cats and dogs are freely getting. So why endeavor for something which is so low grade? Why endeavor for something that the pigs and dogs are getting? Point number two, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that this mature happiness will come to you automatically. You don't even have to endeavor for it. It will automatically come to you. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, just like Sarvata Labhyata Devat, Yata Dukham Ayatnata. So Dukham, just like unhappiness, just like distress. No one endeavors for distress. No one wakes up in the morning thinking, okay, today I'm going to get distressed by doing this, this, and this. No one endeavors for distress. No one endeavors for unhappiness. But distress, unhappiness automatically comes, although we do not endeavor for it. So in the same way Prahlad Maharaj mentions, just like unhappiness and distress comes without us making plans and endeavors for it, similarly your mature happiness will also come to you automatically. You do not have to endeavor for it. So two very powerful points Prahlad Maharaj mentions. So all these things are predestined by our karma. According to our karma, we have a certain quota of mature happiness to experience and certain quota of mature distress. And no matter what we try and do, so many different endeavors, plans, everything we make, at the end of the day, whatever is due to us by our karma, it will come. So this way Prahlad Maharaj explains that that's why you don't have to go for mature happiness. Firstly, this mature happiness is so low that the cats and dogs are freely enjoying it. There's nothing so great and special about this happiness. Secondly, it will come to you automatically. Whatever mature happiness is due to you, it will come to you automatically. You don't have to endeavor for it. Just like, we go to school, high school, everyone studies very hard. But not everyone gets the same marks, Although everyone studies for the same number of hours. Some students, they're just naturally more intelligent. They get 100%, they get top marks. Some students, no matter how hard they study, they just can't, get above 50%, 60%, 70%. Everyone gets the same degree in university, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Business. Everyone gets the same, master's degree. But does everyone become a millionaire? Does everyone become successful in their business? No, the two persons graduate from the same university. They get the same number of marks. They're equally intelligent. One person starts a business, the business flops, he becomes a pauper. Another person starts a business and he's so successful, and he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire. So how come it's like this? It's all based on previous karma. So based on a previous karma, Janma, Ishvara, Shruta, Shribir, all these things are predestined. So no matter how hard we try, we can study, work 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. At the end of the day, whatever mature happiness, whatever wealth, opulence, all these things that are due to us will come to us automatically. No matter, even if we put extra endeavor, it won't change anything. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj, he gives such powerful, nice instructions. It seems very simple, but so powerful actually. We should always remember. Then next, Prahlad Maharaj explains in text 4, endeavors for sense gratification or mature happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy. So understanding that mature happiness will come to us automatically, we don't have to endeavor for it. If someone is still going after it, what does it mean? It means that he's just simply wasting his time. He's just simply losing his time and energy. As Sukadeva Goswami says, second canto of Bhagavatam, that with the rising and the setting of the sun is stealing away. the lifespan of all the living entities, except for one who is constantly engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Then Prahlad Maharaj gives a breakdown of how a conditioned human being, he wastes his whole lifetime. Prahlad Maharaj says, every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of these 100 years, they wasted simply at night in sleeping or in ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. Then next, Prahlad Maharaj says, in the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes another 10 years. So when we're very young, we're a child, we don't know anything. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says, in the tender age of childhood, when one is completely bewildered and in ignorance, he doesn't have much intelligence, again, another 10 years go. Then from 10 to 20, in boyhood, just in playing sports and different games, going out doing different things in teenage life, again, another 10 years gone. So that's 20 years again gone. In this way, another 20 years wasted. Then again in old age, when one is invalid, his memory is gone, intelligence gone, his bodily strength is gone, enthusiasm to do things is gone. Again, another 20 years goes wastefully in old age. And then whatever little time is left, Prahlad Maharaj says, one whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted, because even during those years, he cannot engage himself in devotional service. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj gives us, the Bhagavatam perspective of how everyone is wasting their lives. 0 to 10, just wasted, in childish activities. 10 to 20, wasted in just playing sports and games. Last 20 years, wasted in old age. And then the middle, whatever few years is left, that's also wasted in sense gratification. So the devotees of the Lord seeing this, they, like Vidura, he's seeing how Dhritarashtra, he's just wasted his whole life. And now finally he has few years left. Vidura, out of compassion, is coming and helping Dhritarashtra. So Prabhupada writes in today's purport that, I'll just read the last line of today's purport. Sincere surrender unto the Lotus feet of the Lord is possible by awakening the transcendental sense of service. This is made possible by association with pure devotees of the Lord. Dhritarashtra was lucky enough to have a brother whose very association was a source of liberation for this frustrated life. So Prabhupada writes, Dhritarashtra was very lucky because his whole life he just wasted, just doing all sinful activities. But right at the end of life, just before his body died, he was so lucky he got the association with a pure devotee of the Lord. So this is our duty. Our duty is to make the unlucky souls lucky. Prabhupada writes, like first canto of Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami declares to the sages Naimisharana that in this age of Kali coming up, everyone will be unlucky, misguided, always disturbed, their lifespan will be shorted. And one of the qualities given is they'll be unlucky. So the response of the devotees is that he should make the unlucky souls to lucky. How? By giving them Krishna consciousness. So although Dhritarashtra, he was very unlucky in committing so many sinful activities, just at the fag end of his life, he somehow became lucky and, got liberation. So in the same way, there's so many unlucky souls out there, they don't have any access to the Shastras, Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yas Shastra Vidhi Mutsrija Bhattate Kamakarta Nasa Siddhim Na Vapnoti Na Sukham Na Param Gatim. That if one does not follow the injunctions of the Shastras, for him there will be neither happiness nor perfection, nor will he attain the supreme destination of life. So if someone doesn't follow what the Shastra says, there is no possibility of happiness. He'll always be in anxiety, he'll always be distressed, he'll always be unhappy. So what to speak of following the Shastras? People don't even have access to the Shastras. So unless we go out and distribute his books, how will people be happy? So we need to at least give them the access to the Shastras. Then, okay, at least out of curiosity, they'll open the book and read, Okay, this weird book, with this weird picture in the front, what is this book? I bought in the street from some random guy. Maybe there's something in here, Let me open and read. Then when they read, then they'll understand, okay, this is what the Shastra says, this is what purpose life is. Then they'll act based on that. And by following the Shastra, they'll get actual happiness. And next life, they'll go back home, back to Godhead. So we need to go out there and spread this knowledge of Lord Chaitanya, follow in the footsteps of Vidura, just like Prabhupada, he's writing in the purports of this chapter, that back then, 5,000 years ago, there was only one Dhritarashtra. But now in the present day, there's one Dhritarashtra in every home. In every household, there's Dhritarashtra. So how much responsibility we have, you know. That's why Prabhupada writes that it is our duty to become like Vidura, you know, and create more Vidura-like persons so they can go out and save all these Dhritarashtra's out there. Make all these unlucky Dhritarashtra's into lucky. Make the unfortunate souls into most fortunate by giving them Krishna consciousness. It will stop here. Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanande. Yeah, I just offer it.